Clickety clickety.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another night of Coach Rivals. And we have something special tonight. Not only do we have Blurry Coop over there on the far right, but we are also coming to you live for the first time this season. And I almost forgot the third really good thing right here. We actually have the star of Arcane with us here. Jinx here in the middle.
Yeah, it's your boy, Fat Jinx.
We get asked to do interviews, and how could we pass up on this one? Star of the upcoming season 2. Wait, what did they call it?
You're awesome.
Finks is short for Fat Jinx.
Okay.
Well, anyways, I am excited to be here. I'm glad that you're here with us. I'm Justin, and of course, joined by Drake to my left, right? You're right. Drake, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, and I'm really excited. I think the plan tonight is to break down the presidential debate from a couple weeks ago, so I'm really excited to get into that.
That's why I'm wearing. That's why I'm dressed up.
They are terrible. And then also joining us, it really is Coop. For anybody that doesn't believe because you can't see his actual facial features, it really is Coop.
This is AI generated technology. I don't know what happened. I plugged in the camera, unplugged it a couple times, and this is what you get.
Hey,
Awesome.
Coop, I don't know if you noticed you're a little blurry.
Oh, dang it. Hold on. All right,
Let
there we
that
go.
work.
Fix it.
Almost. I'll tell you what. I'll take blurry Coop over no Coop any day.
Yeah, that works for me. I don't know what happened. Technology, you gotta love it. Tis the way of production.
Awesome. Well, again, happy that everybody is here. We're excited to kick off the final week of the regular season of Coach Rivals. So we're going to touch on that a little bit later. But before we do, we're going to have a little bit of fun, as we have been doing the past few weeks, and with some show and tell. But I'm actually really concerned of how Coop is going to do this.
I know. It's live. Did we tell anybody we're live this time? It's not pre-recorded. Clearly.
Of course, Justin, the host, knew what he's doing.
Yeah. I was going to do one thing for show and tell, but I had to pivot. I was going to actually just show production, but that looks really bad because it's blurry. So do you want me to go with my alternative solution?
Yeah, dude, I'm here for it.
I don't know if anyone can. All right. So my alternative solution is showing a book series I love and an author.
Dang
I
it!
love. No way. Are you kidding me? Did you pick the same thing? Really?
Love it. I think your audio went. I think
Oh man, he's so mad.
There he is.
He
No, I
killed his
still can't hear
mic.
you. He blew his own mic out.
And well, while Drake's trying to solve his own audio issue, I would like to tell everybody about Brandon Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson writes some great books. This is the Mistborn series. Listened to this many years ago, picked it back up to read it, see what it's like in print versus the old audio. It's great if you like epic tales of myth and fantasy and magic. He's got a whole bunch of books that really cool world building, very, very long epics. He did The Wheel of Time and finished that up. And so, yeah, if you're looking for a good read or several, you can't beat Brandon Sanderson.
Awesome.
Can't wait to find out what Drake was going to talk about.
Didn't he invest in is he the one that invested in like an esports team?
So Drake is nodding yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know that side of him.
Not in the
I don't know
know
that side
when it
of
comes
this
to
world.
Yeah, so my understanding is like he invested in like a tier 2 team, like in the Challengers League. So yeah, got a lot of people interested. It sounds like the furious fingers of Googling.
Oh yeah, I was total Google. That was absolutely live. Okay. This is live. Yeah, no, he enters League of Legends esports.
Hey,
wow.
There you go.
He has the record for the most funded Kickstarter ever, and fastest. He did a book Kickstarter and it like exploded out of nowhere. He's got a lot of fans. It's very cool.
That's
anyway,
really cool.
read it. It's good stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, Drake looks like he's back. Drake, you want to give us a little sound check there, buddy?
Hello.
Yeah, we got you. You're back.
Yeah.
You're back.
Hey, great. Yeah. So I definitely didn't have a Brandon Sanderson novel. Not that he's like my favorite author of all time or anything. Definitely not a Cosmere fan. So I picked my favorite book that I've read this year, which is Lightbringer by Pierce Brown. It's the 6th book in the Red Rising series. It's awesome. Just all my thunder is gone. I just don't know how to follow up with it. But yeah, big fantasy sci-fi guy.
Wait, were you going to pick a Brandon Sanderson book?
I was going to pick Mistborn. I literally had.
No way.
I had my first edition Mistborn. I picked out over here. Are you kidding me?
That's unbelievable. Well, you should show that because that's cool. You could show
Okay,
it.
I'm gonna be honest. I can't stand up because I'm. Never mind.
Because you're connected. Got it. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's because he's not wearing any pants.
We're closer to the truth. Full honesty here.
Wow, that was amazing. I cannot believe that happened. That's the Cosmere working through
PG.
us.
No,
Oh man, I love
huge
you
Cosmere
guys.
fan. I recently read through all the books. I finished my second read through of the Stormlight Archives. So
Wow, that's
getting ready
impressive.
We're getting ready for book 5.
5 of 15 or 20 or something.
Only 10.
20, sure.
Well, guys,
Justin, what you got?
I feel terrible because I didn't bring a book.
Nerd.
If I exactly right. So I will say this though. I'm actually reading 2 books right now. I'm reading one called The Art of Forgiving, which is amazing. It's nonfiction, but it's just talks about like forgiveness for healing yourself and all that kind of stuff. But I am reading one fiction book. It's called House of Leaves, about a home that is growing on the inside, but it doesn't on the outside. It's very like postmodern. Yeah. So that one's really, really cool. But I didn't bring any of those in here. So my show and tell is going to be my very first electric guitar that I have totally adorned with stickers. You'll also notice a unofficial logo
I see that.
for Valhalla back there. Shout out to them. But yeah, man, this was my very first electric guitar. Got a lot of band stickers on there because I was kind of in a pretty dark place in my late teens, early 20s, and found some like hardcore bands, like faith-based hardcore bands that were really cool and kind of helped dig me out of a hole. So I was going to show that, but I'm also like really excited because I pulled the trigger on something that I've been wanting to do for like a decade, and
Whoa.
working on a full left sleeve on my arm. Actually,
is that the guy
wraps.
from Fortnite?
But I'm working on he's capping my shoulder and he's gonna bring it over on my chest too. So now I'm blurry. Let's see. Come on, camera.
Yeah,
but either way, so
probably
It's just me. It's just me.
it's just the Drake
there it
show.
is. All right.
I don't
So
get that.
yeah. So anyways, that was my show and tell. But cool. I'm again excited to be here with everybody and hop into some more of what you're really here for, which is we're going to talk about some Coach Rivals stuff. So we're actually going to bring in the leaderboard for the Coach Rivals Team Fight Tactics tournament that is going on. So if you did not know,
Oops.
oh, that's right.
You're
Right.
good. You're back. Yep.
That's the one. Yeah. Oh, I went away. Okay. So we do run a Team Fight Tactics tournament. My understanding is that they play one game every single week. So here are our standings. You're going to see some familiar faces on there because a lot of these players also play in the Coach Rivals matches on Thursday night. So if this is something that interests you and you really enjoy Team Fight Tactics and didn't know that we have that tournament rolling on, please check it out. Reach out to Coop and he can put you in touch with the right people. But again, really, really cool thing. Coop, do you have any other like details on our TFT tournament?
I believe Piper Maru is kind of TOing it, but
Okay.
yeah, it's kind of a cool initiative. I mean, we also have some Smash stuff going on too. So there's a couple different ways if you're not into League or you can't commit to a League season, but you're still interested in stuff. And there's also Overwatch going on. So there's some other stuff happening in the world of non-League of Legends play. And then the Rocket League crews are always looking for pickups. So yeah, feel free to reach out or DM or just kind of pop into those channels and chat with the people involved and find out who's playing. But League is one of the things we do, but there's a lot of space and room for y'all to do whatever you want. And you can stream it.
For sure.
I mean, if you want to play something and stream, just let me know, and we'll give you the keys and let you drive around. We're pretty informal here.
Yeah. Just
Hey,
everybody gets a turn.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up real quick is that since we're doing a live show, I want to open up to chat here. If you guys we're going to do a mailbox segment here coming up. I have a few questions prepared. But if you want to throw some questions in chat for us to answer, now's your time. Put it out there. We can ask tons of good ones, like what kind of shampoo does Justin use? Or I guess what kind of wax or, shining oil, whatever you use for that. But just great questions are always welcome.
It's actually Armor All that I rub.
Oh, nice. It protects from the sun, so it doesn't crack.
Dude, I will say, you say protected from the sun. The absolute worst thing about having a bald head is getting sunburned on your head. That is the epitome of a bad week. You can't, because you can't then shave your head after your head is burned. One, because it hurts, but then you also can't shave it because then the skin starts peeling and you clog your razor. So then I walk around looking absolutely terrible for a whole week.
I've shaved my head twice in my life, and I can relate to that because I've done it both during the summer times for some stupid reason.
Drake, you'd probably look a lot like an Elantrian. You'd think maybe, right?
Elantrian. I'm sure that was funny if I got it.
It's a Brandon Sanderson reference.
He's not a true Brandon Sanderson fan, is he?
I skipped the Elantris book, my bad. Anyway.
It's okay. I just started it. Nerd.
Awesome. Well, we're going to move into some more standings. Actually, let's take a look at our League of Legends standings so far. Again, this is the last week of the regular season before we head into playoffs next week. And again, the great thing about Coach Rivals is every single team makes it into playoffs. Those regular season games are essentially just working for seeding. It accomplishes the purpose of Coach Rivals, right? Camaraderie, teamwork, all that stuff. So we're going to take a look at the champions tier first. So we actually have Hearts of Diamond undefeated throughout the entire season. So they've actually finished all of their games. So they are set and ready to go. They're just awaiting the results of tonight to see where all that seeding is and where everything gets placed. But we have an absolute just like cluster there between second and fourth place with Shake That Ash, Farm and the Furious, and Red Clad Redemption all tied up, knotted up at 1 and 2. So there will be some pivotal, important matches tonight to break those ties to determine that seeding going into next week. And then we have Avoided rounding out our top 5, 0 and 3. Again, one more match to play. So I'm sure they're coming in looking to play Spoiler for sure. So interested to see if that is going to take place. Let's take a look over at our Legends tier. Now, keep in mind, the wins and losses are going to be very different because in the Legends tier, they do play a best of 2. So you could finish the night 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2. And so that's where you're going to see a lot more variance in the numbers there. But Green Team and Genkenstein's Monsters at the top of the leaderboards, tied up at 4 wins to, I'm sorry, Face Checkers too, up there. Sorry, I neglected my own team. A three-way tie for first place with those teams all tied up at 4 and 2. We have Grubadub Dub rounding out fourth place there with 3 and 3. And then the Buff team is at 1-5.
It's a long team
So
name.
again, yeah. So my understanding is the first week of playoffs next week will be a play-ins game between 4th place and 5th place within each division. So we will wrap up the regular season tonight, hopefully, or within the next week. And then next Thursday night should be that first playoff game between the 4th place and 5th place teams within each division. And that is going to determine who will actually move on into that bracket, that full bracket phase for the playoffs. And then we kind of go from there. Congratulations to all teams for getting through another Coach Rivals season, regular season that will be wrapping up tonight, and we're looking forward to playoffs. Should be a lot of fun.
So before we leave here, Justin, like something I want to point out here. I don't know if we pull the graphics up for the two teams. Sure. This is like a crazy week, right? I think we have, like, obviously depending on how the games go out tonight, but like it looks like all 4 teams. Except for one buff down there, is all in play to be in the 4th spot, right? So depending on how this week goes, all of these teams could possibly be our 4th tier, our 4th place team having to play the play in this week. So a lot of stuff rides on the games tonight. I'm going to go back over to the champions tier. Same thing. Aside from Hearts of Diamond, I think everyone's in play for the 4th and 5th place seeding. So no team gets to rest on our laurels tonight. Lots of drama in the matchup spread.
Yeah, it'll be a good
sure.
night for sure. And we're going to see tonight, let's go back to it real quick. We're going to see the green team up against Grub a Dub. And so that could shake some things out. And it'll be interesting to see what comes about after tonight and as the scores kind of come in throughout the next couple of days. Because we do have... we've got some reschedules coming up, and, we had some weather, so we're glad. Sounds like everyone's getting their power back, which is great. But we still have some reschedules that are coming in for this last week. But, yeah, it's going to be an interesting way to round things out.
Awesome. So, again, be sure to tune in immediately after Rift happens. So here in about, 12 minutes, we should be having some games going on. But before that... we do have the viewer mailbag, and Senior Finks is going to take that away.
I didn't like how you said that. That felt a little prejudiced.
I mean, can't win.
It's cool. No, it's cool. I'll let it slide this time. But yeah, so
we just bonded earlier over songs, so I was feeling like really comfortable.
Well, and
with you in the Discord.
Not only that, but I heard a little rumor someone's out there playing disc golf.
Well, it was.
Oh, yes.
As quickly as my illustrious disc golf career took off, I am now sidelined. I got really into it thanks to Justin here talking about it. Not really, Justin's got me into it, but just giving credit here. And tore my labrum last night, actually. Ended up going to the emergency room. It was pretty great. Hey, I want you to know, toured on the 11th hole, finished the course.
Wow.
Dude, what a boss.
Now, was I 21 over? Yeah, I was.
Did you
Doesn't
finish?
matter. You
That's
finished.
great.
Did I finish? Yes, I did. And you know what? I cried every hole throwing that disc. Wow. That did not feel good.
I'm proud of you.
It's dedication.
Yeah, most people call that stupid. I call it dedication. Anyway, all right, back to the question we got here. And kind of leading our song question. We asked before kind of what's your ritual of getting ready for a game. We talked about like, you have a hype song you listen to and stuff like that. I think the way like kind of fell that in here is what are you listening to now? Like not just getting ready. Like what's on you're driving to work? What's on the playlist? Like give me a couple songs you're listening to. Justin, you want to go and start us off here?
Or the gym.
Who
but,
submitted
wherever.
this? Who submitted this question?
It's anonymous, Justin.
Prake Drime, I think is who it was.
All right, look, confession time, okay? I've been keeping this really low-key secret, and I've told a few people that I'm like really close to, because I feel like they would keep a secret. Tonight, I made the mistake of telling Drake, so that's where I really messed up. So, what my recent kick has been, I've been listening to a lot of heavy metal covers of pop songs.
Oh, dude, same here.
Yes, so I've been like totally jamming out to them. They're absolutely amazing, and it's like Bieber songs and I don't know, just stuff that I wouldn't normally listen to. That took me down a path that I never thought I would find myself. And now, daily, when I go to the gym, I am actually listening to Sabrina Carpenter for some reason. I don't know why.
I mean, the reason is that
like,
she's very talented.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it could just be that it's a good song, and you like.
she
It.
makes
Yes,
fantastic music.
I'm just bopping, man. I'm between sets. I'm standing up and I'm waiting my my 60 seconds before I start my next set, and I'm just grooving. And I got Dua Lipa going on my playlist right now.
No shame.
I don't know. I don't really know.
What's all this shame stuff?
How to
You
describe
I said
did
no
music.
shame. I said no shame.
Yeah, but it's like specifically, like I pointed out, like of course there's no. It's like going,
No, it was a
course.
confidence. Justin was a little hesitant to tell us about
it's like, it's
to
a
tell us he has good
multiplication.
taste in
Like,
music.
don't be shameful. I know what you're doing is shameful, but don't be worried. No, we're just jamming.
Look,
we're just
I've got a new lease on life right now. I've just decided that I'm just going to be unapologetically me, and people can take it or leave it. And so
just say, like,
this is me.
having-
I go from day to day listening to your hair's killing me, bro. Day to day, I'm listening to music that is screaming, growling, just it's absolutely bonkers. And then the very next song, I'm like, yeah, let's listen to Sabrina Carpenter.
It's good contrast.
I don't know.
It's contrast. It's good stuff. I will say that there's those pop or those punk goes pop and all those covers are so
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Like
So there's one the Shivers song. There's Shivers by No Resolve. That one's been my
it's good.
I'll listen to that one on repeat.
We got certified bangers. What are you listening to? You got some heaters coming in?
Well, I did actually recently go through listen to every heavy metal, death metal, screamo cover of every T Swift song possible phase, which is there's some. When you write in 4/4 pop, it really translates to screaming and growling really well. So I did that for a while. Books on tape, man, and that's what I've been doing. I've been having to commute an hour and 15 minutes for the last couple of weeks, and so push play. But we are a Taylor Swift household, so when I'm not, that's what's going on. So no shame. She's good. She's got good music. I like it. I said no shame. I'm so sorry, Drake. I apologize.
You've heard the I Prevail, or is it I Prevail? Is that the one that has the Taylor Swift cover? Let's see.
Yeah, theirs is like Our Last Night has a couple really good covers of that too.
Yeah, so I Prevail did a Blank Space cover.
Theirs is like really famous one.
Yep. We Came as Romans. I knew you were trouble.
Familiar with them? Yes.
Add that to your list.
The other thing,
than I am.
well, so Alex Melton is a guy on YouTube who does covers in different genres, but most of his stuff is like, what if Blink 182 did this song? So he does he sounds just like Blink 182. He does all the parts, and he does a ton of really good stuff, and it's really easy to go down a rabbit hole of Alex Melton covers too.
Hey,
What about Postmodern Jukebox? Have you seen them?
love them.
All right, Coop. If you aren't, I gotta look that one up. So they'll do covers, but it's like jazz.
Oh,
I like swing, but
that's
it's
cool.
modern songs that it's so good. Definitely check those out. It's a good YouTube
I love
channel.
the videos they make where they bring in like Puddles the Clown. Like, oh, some good stuff.
Yeah,
Really? They bring in Puddles? Puddles is from Atlanta.
yeah.
We got some
Puddles
stuff
is
from the
very
chat. W. Kelly likes Goldfinger's cover of 99 Red Balloons. There's just something about covers, reinterpretation. It's awesome. It's good stuff.
I think it goes to show like good songs are good songs, no matter the style that they're in.
Especially when you're doing pinch squeals and chugging. Chug, 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 chug.
Yeah.
Drake, what are you listening to other than Sabrina Carpenter?
No, it's fine. The beginning of my sentence interrupted the middle of yours. That's my fault. Oh God, I swallowed one of the hairs. Yeah, mostly Sabrina Carpenter, some Louis Rodrigo. I work. I always mentioned before. Oh, sorry, guys. I work for
Hairball.
for a banking software company, and there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the banking industry. So a lot of my listen to free time now is spent listening to like breakdowns of like legislation being passed. So like
Ooh.
really bore you. There's like rate hikes and stuff like that, long-term effects of like rates and inflation right now. Also, there's this thing called 1071 being passed that has the community banking world is absolutely in a tizzy that we're just absolutely breaking down. So
Sound like some serious number one hits.
you know,
What chart are they on?
That,
Excel?
I think-
The top Excel
Yeah.
100?
yeah, I don't even think they make it to there, man. I don't think they made it that far.
Oof. Yikes.
write that down as a future band name: Community Banking in a Tizzy.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good party band.
I like it.
Well, I think just for the sake of time, we'll keep that as our only question for tonight.
Fair.
From my end, so I'm gonna hand it back over to you, Justin.
Yeah, man, this is the last time I confide in you. But whatever. You know what? I'm
What are you
I am who I
ashamed
am.
of? Like I'm just over here, just getting my hair going, just having a blast.
Oh, it's,
I am who I am. You know, I'm not gonna deny it anymore. Just take me or leave me. All right. So before we head off, we do have one last bit of information, and it's actually really exciting information, especially for those of you that are still coaching Scholastic esports programs, and it has to do with the Phoenix Grant. So we're going to turn it over to Coop to give us the lowdown on that, and please make sure you're paying extra close attention because this will definitely have the potential to benefit your Scholastic esports program.
yes. So it's good news and bad news. So the good news is we have money in the Phoenix Gaming Foundation grant fund to give out. Some history. A couple years ago, we started something called the Phoenix Gaming Foundation, which is a nonprofit to give micro grants to Scholastic esports programs. Mostly it was kept internal to Coach Rivals. So it was like a community driven, community funded. The Twitch stream funds it. And stuff like that. And we've worked with some partners. We work with Esports Gear and Cloud9 Training Grounds to kind of raise money and then dish it all back out. Which is great. The unfortunate side of that is running a nonprofit is actually really freaking hard. And so we had to actually shutter temporarily, hopefully only temporarily, the Phoenix Gaming Foundation. But we still have some money and we have to get rid of it. And so we're going to liquidate the funds this summer. And so what we're going to do is, I believe the math checks out. We have 11 grants that we're going to push out. We're going to do 5 in each tier. And so Legends tier and Champions tier, there'll be 5, about $125 or somewhere in that range. And it's all raffle. It's all, it's basically participation style. So it doesn't matter if you win or lose, or you're the best player, the best team, or not. Everybody who competes is entered into that raffle system. And then when it's all shakes out, when it's all said and done, we'll run those against the rosters. And if you have a school, your school will get a check. If you currently do not teach at a school, you can gift it to anyone of your choice, or we can re-roll it. But it's we'll be doing that towards the end of the season, or after the final game, dishing out the last bit of the current coffers of the Phoenix Gaming Foundation. So be on the lookout for that. I think the 11th is just an all-over grant. I think that's how it's going to shake out. So we'll have one for each tier, and then we'll have one just general grant that we'll do. But we'll have some more information to that as we get closer to the finals. So there you go. So yeah, pay attention. Check your Discords as we get closer to that. But this year, like in previous years, we'll still be working to fund programs. So if you need some money and you're playing, you might get some.
Awesome. Love to hear it. So please keep your eye out on the Discord for that opportunity to receive some grant money for your program. But that's going to do it here for Rift Happens. We've got 2 games tonight going on. One between Shake That Ash and Rick Led Redemption. And then the other one is Grub-a-Dub-Dub versus Green Team. So we are going to end Rift Happens here, toss it over to our casters. I've heard that there's a pretty handsome caster going to be there tonight. So I'm looking forward to that, to see who that could possibly be. But either way, for Finks over to my left,
My God.
this has got the propellers going, and for Blurry Coop, thank y'all so much for tuning in and hanging out with us. And let's get some League of Legends action.
Yeah. So
in blue.
so we'll be right back. Give us just a second to transition, and we'll see y'all in just a minute. All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our final week of the regular season of the 2024 Coach Rivals Summer event for this year. I'm Justin. I'm joined by Kyler, aka Ancient Relic. I told you we would have a handsome caster here, and I'm fortunate enough to be joining him. So, Kyler, thanks for hopping in and
No
joining us on the
problem.
cast tonight.
Yeah, no, it's always fun to cast. It's one of the things that actually got me into collegiate League of Legends, and now I coach for it. So I don't get to cast as much as I used to. So I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always fun to just kind of keep it fresh and you have the opportunity to do this. I did some casting for the high school team and then some for the collegiate program I was working with, and then I'm a little rusty, but fortunately I just get to describe what's going on, and you are going to bring the banger analysis tonight. So I'm looking forward to that.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, I mean, we're getting in the draft already on Shake That Ash versus Red Kled, and I'm seeing some interesting bans. It looks like Shake That Ash is really targeting the jungle with the Amumu and the Sejuani, whereas Red Kled, the Vex and the Brand can kind of go anywhere, but it looks like it's you're taking out either the jungler or the mid laner, and you're focusing on that. And I think that's really interesting because having played against these teams, you start to see over the course of the entire season, like, where do people have their strengths at? And I think you target the right person. And I'm surprised by a Master Yi blue one.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's really interesting because that's not something you typically see, or we have been seeing. But I've heard some rumors about where the meta might be shifting towards. I'm not super happy about it. You would think, as a jungle man myself, that funnel comps are going to come back, but Master Yi, very strong, farm focus. You're not ganking as much. Even when you hit level 6, you're still kind of just farming. So that's interesting. It's going to be weird. It's going to be interesting to see where they're headed towards with this comp.
Yeah, for sure. And you were talking about the brand. Brand has been an absolute terror. So I do really like that ban just because it does really hit it, potentially 3, 4, honestly 4 different roles. But I was interested to see where the Yi was going to go. We see the Galio come in. I like Galio and Yi comboed together. So I'm wondering if these teams scrimmed each other and maybe they had this situation where they go with the Yi and Galio, but then now the red side is taking Galio away. So I think that's pretty interesting. But it's Malphite coming in too, along with the Morgana. I like the Morgana with the Master Yi because one of the big things with Master Yi as a counter to him is crowd control, and that Black Shield is going to come in absolute clutch as long as those E's are on point to block any CC, especially once we have the Maokai coming in as well. So you see Red Kled Redemption really stacking the crowd control before we go into that second ban phase.
Yeah, no, and it's really, really important that you're seeing the Malphite is so you're so divisive with how you choose to play him. You're either playing him AP or you're playing him engage tank, and you're just there to go in and make a big mess of things. And on the other side, Maokai and Galio are both great for engage and disengage. So it's going to be interesting to see how this draft kind of evolves over the thing. We see a Garen ban, we see the Samira ban, and the Lissandra ban. So I'm looking more to see what Shake That Ash is going to do to support the Master Yi with damage. If it is going to be that Malphite Morgana, or if they're going to, play something different. And on Red Kled's side is, how do they keep the damage up with the current build that they've got going, with the Galio and Maokai both being relatively tanky and not having the best in terms of damage in this current patch. And that's Milio, so I think that's Maokai jungle then. It could also be top, but I haven't seen him play top very recently. So it's an interesting way. It's a good way to stack some extra damage on your AD carry with that burn. Kennen. I also saw that and I was kind of confused. This is
okay.
Yeah. I mean, you
All
can
right.
you can see the like idea of like to just engage upon them with the Malphite, with the Kennen, and with the Morgana or the Master Yi going in with the Morgana Black Shield on him. But yeah, this is looking like a team that just wants to go in, run you down, and take you out with the Shake That Ash. And then on Red Cled's side is, hey, we're gonna poke you out when you go in, we're gonna disengage, and then we're going to pivot it onto you and make you kind of suffer at the fate of the Maokai, Volibear, and then the Caitlyn just constantly poking you down with that. It increased range and damage from Milio. So not something we typically see. Like Milio has not shown a lot of presence, but I still like him as a champion, especially in terms of being able to give your AD carry the extra damage that you might not get somewhere else in the roles. So
yeah, for sure. My only concern as far as like Red Cled would be the I guess the damage and being able to keep that Caitlyn alive, but then at the same time, Caitlyn is primarily single target. You're not going to have a lot of the splash damage that you get with the Jinx. Lots of AoE coming through with Shake That Ash, and very easy to execute combos. You ult in with the Malphite. Honestly, you don't really need the Yi with how this is set up. If you get the Malphite and the Kennen online, you get them out of laning phase just fine, and you can sync those ults together to buy enough time for the Jinx to unload with the rockets once she has Hurricane. Then I think you're solid. You're going to be shredding that other team. But on the flip side, there is a lot of CC on the side of Red Cled Redemption with the Maokai, with the Galio, with the point and click stun from the Volibear. So, but then on top of that, you got the Milio to be able to cleanse the CC if you're getting on top of the Caitlyn. So, I think it's a really interesting clash of styles. They're definitely looking to be playing team fights very, very differently. It's going to be really exciting for sure.
Yeah, no, and I think you do make a good point about Red Cled kind of having not a great damage profile overall. Now, Galio does have his AP build, and so does Volibear. Volibear has an AP build, a Bruiser build, a Tank build, and an AD build. He's kind of the one-hit wonder of I can play anything type of style, but it's interesting to see who they're going to put the onus on to take the AP damage, because you're either having Galio play AP and then he's relatively squishy, and then Volibear needs to kind of back up the tankiness of the Maokai with either the Bruiser or Tank build, or you're flipping the script, having Volibear go full AP and having Galio just be another hey, let me just be the disengaged bot of this team. So that's really interesting. On the side of Shake That Ash, I think you're right. You've got a lot of AoE. You've got a lot of good, hard crowd control. Master Yi probably isn't necessarily needed in a lot of these fights, but I think like if the Master Yi gets onto the back line of Red Cled, it could just be, over for that team fight. So you have to be very careful with, him running in with that black shield on him, just to it's hard to stop his advance, because Maokai is not going to be able to deal enough damage to pop the black shield. Volibear, if he's going the AP build, is not going to use the stun. He's going to use the stun first to take out a big chunk of that damage. And Galio's taunt doesn't do anything, and he's if he's doing the damage, he's not there to actually tank it as well. So really interesting to see how these two teams are going to play out when it gets into those mid-game team fights. But I think there's also the question of how do you play laning phase with these two teams? Because I think, honestly, if you look on the two sides of things, I'm favoring top side more for Shake That Ash, just because Kennen and Malphite even if Malphite is not doing anything but mitigating against the Galio in the mid lane, he's still got a decent amount of poke that I think he out damages Galio in the early game. Whereas on the bot side, I like the Caitlyn Milio a lot better than the Jinx Morgana, just because you're not expecting a lot of CC out of that bot lane. So the Morgana Black Shield is not going to be important. You have to hit those Qs. The Jinx has to get the traps down underneath it to do a substantial amount of damage. And if you don't do that, you're already losing the range fight against the Caitlyn, but now it's got a Milio buff on it, and it could get really dicey down there.
Yeah, for sure. But it's really going to boil down to, you've got a lot of pressure from that Jinx Morgana just out of that Morgana Q. Once that snare hits, that is threatening, and Morgana could get to that point where she doesn't really have to throw her Q. She could just posture up, and with that aggressive lane where we have a snare, we have a pick tool, compared to one where you're only stacking that enchanter to just make sure that Caitlyn is out farming, because Caitlyn can out farm the Jinx. Caitlyn can poke the Jinx as long as we're not getting hit by that Morgana Q. So definitely an interesting lane to play out. We should be heading into the game here very soon. I am still interested to see if it's going to be Malphite mid or Kennen mid.
Yeah, it's the one toss up here that I'm not 100% certain on. Like, I know that the Maokai Volibear could flex between jungle top, but I'm more likely to see the Volibear top lane right now, just because of how Maokai's builds are like more leaning towards those supportive styles. But I think you're right that like the toss up of, is Kennen going to be going up against the Volibear, or is he going up against the Galio? That's the big question. I think he's got a better time into the Galio, but I don't think that Malphite likes going into Volibear, and that's what it's going to be, it looks like. So we've got Nightwolf on the Malphite in the top lane against Black Beetle's Volibear. So, we talked about having those important matchups that you got to kind of watch. And right now it looks like a pretty standard, almost 5 point, not quite, but pretty standard line of scrimmage for these two teams. No invades expected here anyways. But I'm really interested to see where this, where these junglers put their focus, because, Maokai and Master Yi, not typically well known for ganking early, but if you do make a good gank on a lane that is relatively weak in the early game, you could really swing things in your direction.
Yeah, for sure. So really looking at probably not a lot of action coming out of blue side from the jungle. One thing we didn't touch on very much is there's not a lot of Master Yi is not a very self-sufficient ganking jungler. There is going to be a lot of power farming going on. So if you are a huge fan of, 3 camp clears and then gank a lane, you might want to tune out. You're not going to be seeing that from blue side. Maokai, possibly so, but yeah, definitely going to see a little bit of a slow play coming from Yi, just trying to farm up, get to that break point at level 6 where he can rush in. But all in all, early game going about the way we would expect it to, just focusing on some of the farming, a little bit of early trading, back and forth. If we could get the scoreboard at the bottom, we can kind of take a look at the CS and make sure that kind of see what's going on. By and large, all things pretty even. I am kind of anticipating Kennen at some point taking the lead over Galio, just simply being ranged as opposed to going into that melee with the CS. But lots of heavy trading going on in the top lane. You have Malphite already down to sub 300 HP, shoved under tower, but still farming very well against Black Beetle's Volibear.
Yeah, and that's going to be really important, is you need to stay up with him. Top lane is a very volatile matchup. If you don't get the push, you'll start to lose a lot of farm early. So the fact that he is able to take this, good farm under turret means that he's not going to be falling too far behind unless he, makes one bad play. And Kennen going in a little low.
Yeah, that's a It was a great sidestep though from Jubbin's charge there. I believe if that knockup would have hit, it may not have been a kill. It definitely would have been a blown summoner spell on Kenneth though. So great sidestep from him. But it definitely was an aggressive trade. Coyote was I don't know if that was a wise decision or not.
Yeah, and you can just see what Volibear is doing to the Malphite. Like I said, it's not a great lane for Malphite, just because like the range that you get on that Storm Call from Volibear, really good to poke under turret, and you don't even have to take turret aggro. So yeah, you can already see he's going back. I think he's going to back and TP in. But I'm very impressed to see Dr. Strangeglove and Cartera really pushing forward in this lane. They're being relatively aggressive. You know, Cartera's been hit by a couple bindings, but they're playing in a way that, you know, kind of you wouldn't expect out of a lane that plays into Jinx Morgana. You typically don't want to be aggressive, but here goes Jubbin.
Yeah, there's the blown flash there, but we have Master Yi in here. He is walking straight in again, not level 6 yet. So we have the flash forward, and there's the twisted advance, and it's going to be Maokai taking the kill. Yi is all in now, but he does use the Alpha Strike to be able to dodge out of the CC chain there. But first blood going over to Saint of Minnesota on the Maokai. Again, those ganks are really useful, or I guess really effective, efficient really, from the Maokai, but it's not quite over yet. He does pop the passive there, and he's going straight in, hitting some damage, and that is going to be a trade kill over. So Saikaze is going to pick that. Coyote's back in lane, did TP in, not going to be able to get the kill onto Jubbin, but I think Saikaze is going to be really happy with this. Not only does he get the trade kill back in, but he's going to get the Scuttle Crab as well. He also got Top Scuttle, so double Scuttles for Shake That Ash. So great job for them, despite the first blood going over to Red Clad Redemption.
Yeah, and having double Scuttle up, you get such an advantage because you can see that it's about 8 CS that attributes to fully, but what that does is it also gives you really good early game vision, and it helps you track the enemy jungler a lot better. Now, do I expect the Maokai to be walking into the river to try to invade or anything? No, not really. But even just the knowing if they have or have not walked over that is so strong. And you see Jubbin kind of trying to keep Coyote off of this wave. Now he's going to go back, just get back to farming and poke him down like he has been most of this lane. And you know, he's already picked up the Bomby Cinder, so I think that tells us that he is going more of the tanky Galio build, which has been coming back quite a bit. He's lost some of his AP items that really make that build impressive, but looks like relatively standard. It's still 1-to-1. I think, like, you know, we're definitely not going to be seeing too much until we get to these like mid-game objectives. I would expect to see some trade around these neutral objectives in the early game. Saint of Minnesota clearing out some vision, going to get seen by Coyote here.
Yeah, Coyote is level 6, so they have to be really careful. This is a lining up for definitely a death here onto. There's a Galio coming through, but again, we have double ults here, both level 6s. There's the Kennen ult coming through. We also have Saikaze flashing in with the Alpha Strike, going to get the first kill onto the Maokai, chasing down the Galio. Remember, Galio ult is down. We do have the Volibear coming in to just kind of dissuade any further advancement here, but what that does mean with the Maokai being off the map, even though respawn timers are short, that does give a free Void Grub farm fest over for blue side. Shake That Ash. So they're going to collect all 3 of those first grubs. That's going to mean that they only need 1 of the next spawn in order to be able to spawn the little grubbies to help them take out towers. So definitely a great turn for them to not only get the kills, but then also get some of those neutral objectives as well, as we see a trade coming through on the bot side to get that Drake.
Yeah, and this trade, you know, it may look a little bit late because the Saint of Minnesota had to come back from the death, but they actually didn't do it at such a terrible time, knowing that the Master Yi did back after Grubs. And man, Black Beetle is he turns off the trade.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly. And we knew it was coming. You have once the E hits, and you have that slow coming through. you have the ult ready. You can just turn off the tower and just, point click stun. That's going to be an easy kill over for Black Beetle. But we have the engage here in the middle as well. Jubbin goes back in, gets the knock up. But the Jinx Super Mega Death Rocket does get the kill onto the Milio and another death. And we have another snare in the bot lane now. Loki Doki hitting that Q onto Dr. Strangelove. He's stepping forward. He's got to avoid the traps. He does not quite sidestep them, but he does look like he's going to live. He does flash away from the zap from Jinx. A lot of activity. There's the flash and the block from the ace in the hole. Lots of action taking place there, but we have Saikaze here looking to play cleanup. He's going into a 1v3. It does look like Dr. Strangelove is going to get the recall off, but Saikaze is all in on this. He does have a level advantage onto the Maokai. Alpha Strike Su, he does pop the ult. He's going to run away here. Blue Side stepping up, throws out some rockets, but it looks like both teams are going to be satisfied with the handshake, saying, all right, I think you've got enough. Let's take a little break and go back to farming.
Yeah, that was a very intense couple minutes there. And, you know, it's now that Saikaze has hit 6, it's a lot easier for him to gank. You know, you still want a little bit of gank setup. That's why, you know, the Morgana is super important, or getting a stun from Kennen is super important. But, you know, even with that, I think Red Clad, they take the dragon and then immediately take a couple losses on the, you know, in the mid and bot lane. But I don't think that it puts them so far behind that they can't, like, you know, just kind of reset the mindset. And Saikaze, to try to keep his pressure up, he's made a lot of big plays, and, you know, not something you normally see out of a Master Yi ganking and being in lanes a lot. You think he's typically a farmer, but he's kind of given himself that ability with the 2 kills that he has. So I like to see the more aggressive play style, especially out of somewhere where you don't normally see it.
Yeah, and, you know, one of the other things, too, about this, we were talking about the Yi may not necessarily be needed in these team fights just because of how much team fight presence the Malphite, Kennen, and the Jinx brings to the table. But with the Yi being accelerated like this, now you have this other kind of X factor that could come into play with Shake That Ash, where as we have another fight breaking down the bot lane, that is going to be the Milio coming through, trying to save Dr. Strangelove. He does net away. The heals are coming through. The shielding is there. Jinx just needs one more AoE. They are actually going to pick up the Milio first. Jinx is getting excited. That's going to give her the speed boost she needs to be able to close the gap. And great job for Blue Side being able to actually hit the champion and not the turret walking close. That's a really cool play there. But Coyote is TPing in, ult ready. 1 level down onto the Volibear, but this Volibear is, again, level 9. It does flash forward. There's a Volibear ult coming down onto Nightwolf, but the Galio ult coming through as well, going to secure the kill onto the Malphite. So a trade kill over into the top lane for Red Clad Redemption. So action happening on both sides of the map. But what I wanted to kind of go back to what I was saying before all the action broke out is with this Yi being accelerated, now you run into this issue where you can actually group this main core 4 of Malphite, Kennen, Jinx, and Morgana, and then you can have Yi do his own thing on the opposite side of the map. He's going to be able to, you know, take some of these objectives on his own. He can even split push on his own if he gets really far ahead. Just could be an absolute menace, and they could play the map multiple ways. But we are going to have the second grub spawn being started by Red Clad Redemption. The fight is breaking out. They are being answered. Black Beetle goes straight in on Saikaze. The meditation is coming through. It does look like he is going to survive. Kennen goes through with the stuns. Black Beetle is going to be the first one to drop. Saikaze is going to pick up the Maokai as well. And then finally, Jubbin does drop. It is a clean 3-0 on the side of Shake That Ash. Not a single player drops.
Yeah, and they pick up that 4th grub, so they will be able to start, you know, spawning the grubs and getting a little bit of extra power in their pushing. It was really interesting because you had the trade of the sides, right? You lost on the bot side, but you get a win on the top side, and you immediately try to transfer that into the grubs, but you didn't get the Kennen low enough to push him out of the fight. You didn't know where the Master Yi was, so it's really hard for you to finish that. And you saw them, they got through the first 2 and they had to make the decision. Do we go for the fight or do we just try to finish off the grub? And they chose to go for the fight, which, you know, in a lot of cases that is the more insured way to you know, make sure you do get that objective. But in that case, they just weren't in a position that they could win the fight, and it cost them that third grub and three deaths on the side of Redclad. So
for sure. And now we have this other fight breaking out. Here comes the first Maokai ult that we've really seen targeting that bot side. We are going to have the Twisted advance in. That is going to be Jinx dropping, but Master Yi is here. He is 3-0-2, got a big bounty on his head, and Caitlyn is saying, I don't know that I want this. The ace in the hole does not get blocked, but it does end up picking the kill up, but Yi is going to easily chase down the Caitlyn here if he can find her. That's going to definitely be a dead Caitlyn and a triple kill over to Saikazi's Master Yi. So this Yi, I'm going to say it, he's fully online.
Absolutely, yeah. When you can get 3 kills off of a essentially lost fight, like I think Redclad had the right idea with leading up with the Maokai ult, but he put it in such a place that you really only had to worry about one, the Morgana and here goes Nightwolf going in on Black Beetle, trying to get something back on this top side of the map, but he's got to flash out.
Exactly, and then more trades going on in the mid lane, but yeah, lots of back and forth here. Nightwolf is definitely in a tough spot, even though another E coming through here is definitely going to wipe him here. It's like, I don't need the E, let's just walk up and chop them. So that's going to be Nightwolf dropping in over to the Volibear. Cartera in a little bit of trouble. The Jinx Rocket does connect, but leaves Cartera with about 200 HP. She is going to walk out of there. Jubbin dashes forward with the taunt on Coyote. Coyote looking to scramble out of there. Jubbin with that magic shield is going to be able to absorb a lot of that cannon damage, but Master Yi, holy moly, with that with the Bork going through, he's going to win those trades easily. And now here comes Black Beetle and here comes Jubbin, both diving onto the Yi. The meditation is channeling. Who's going to get the Rift Herald? It does look like that's going to be going over to the red side. Redclad Redemption is going to pick up Rift Herald as another fight breaks down in the bot side. It's bloodshed across the Rift. But holy moly, we got to recap all of these objectives going back and forth. Rift Herald does go over to Redclad Redemption. We do have a bot lane trade going over to Shake That Ash, but the shutdown on the Yi does come through. So that's going to be kind of the shining point here. And Redclad Redemption is going to cut that gold lead down to 1.5K.
Yep. Black Beetle just, I'm going to take this turret before I finish you. Now he's got to get out. That's a TP from, I think, Cannon. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just
not a lot you can do there.
Quick. Yeah, you can't when he's TPing in, he's just gonna get that stun off on you in like 0.5 seconds. But you're right, like the constant trades back and forth, and I think if you're on Redclad Redemption, you have to be thinking like, where can we claw back some of these goals? We see Master Yi's on the bot side of the map. Let's go top side. We see that they're getting a kill on the top side. We got to go bot side. You got to try to play the seesaw there to stem the bleeding. Make sure you're not losing too much here. You may have lost the first turret on the bot side, but you get it back. You get the turret back on the top side. It costs you a life, but in the long run, and here comes Jubbin going in on Nightwolf. Nightwolf's just not able to find a reprieve here, and he's going to go down to Jubbin real easily.
Yeah, the taunt under the tower was definitely there to be able to lock him down. He's not going anywhere. Respect for just stepping forward and collecting as much CS as he could before he went down, because he was definitely in a bad spot. Santa Minnesota's ult goes wide, and that's going to be the cleanup starting to come through. Resets coming through for the Jinx. That's a double for the Jinx already. Jinx is excited, has the range, a triple kill for the Jinx, and with those 4 grubs in the back pocket of Shake That Ash, they're going to easily take this. They could probably push for another one. Jubbin is stepping up very close. The snare comes through. That's going to be another kill. That is a unofficial quadra for the Jinx. Give Jinx the unofficial penta here, and that is, I'm going to go ahead and say, unofficial penta. That is absolutely 5 kills in a row for Blue Side.
Yeah, I was concerned when I saw Jubbin walking back. I think he should have just kind of backed up and tried to sit next to that second tier turret. But while this is all happening, Coyote on the bot side of the map is pushing up and trying to get this second tier turret as well. It's they're trying to play aggressive, they're trying to push their advantage, and they're doing it really well. Having 4 grubs, it's not it's not the most impactful thing on paper. If you look at the numbers that it's doing, it's not doing a ton of damage to turrets. Even if you get all 6, it's like you get 2 grubs per person attacking a turret, right? And it doesn't feel like a lot. But when you move into these later stages of the game, like when you're in mid game, when you're in late game, even that 1 extra auto attack from a grub or 2 extra auto attacks from a grub, or it absorbs 1 turret shot, can make the difference in a lot of your either sieges. For you keep your wave going just a little bit longer, you get the turret down in 1 extra hit or 1 less hit. That could be the change of, oh, we're going to get that turret down real quick, so let's go and dive them. Or we have a big enough wave that we can keep pushing this advantage that we have here. And you saw Black Beetle TP in to the bot side here. I think they're trying to set up to catch the people going after Jubbin here, but they might be found out down in the river. But
gigantic super mega death rocket. Remember, she does get the increased damage based on the missing health, and so it's like, okay, you know what, y'all want the Drake, that's fine. We have an excited Jinx in the mid lane, so Shake That Ash is going to continue to push up mid lane. They are going to get the tier 2, they're going to get the tier 3. We'll see if they go ahead and opt to take this inhibitor at 19 minutes. There could be a play here to leave that up to get 2 at a time, but they're going to go ahead and grab it. Okay. Black Beetle is here, going to flash onto a fantastic flash from blue side, and that's going to be Black Beetle just absolutely deleted. Was not able to connect with the Q auto attack, so that's going to be Jinx getting out alive again, and they are sticking around here, going to clean out some vision. They do have Nightwolf shoving on the top side as well.
Yeah, you're kind of just playing this game of, to try to spread them thin. You were right. You took the advantage of, hey, you guys want to get the dragon. Well, Jinx just got a kill, and she's going to take 2 turrets right after that. And, Jubbin, he's walking up because he thinks, hey, maybe with Black Beetle on the backside we can get something to go. But if you just don't get on top of the Jinx, and if you get caught like that, like Saint did, you're just not going to do as much as you want out of it. So Black Beetle with the ult under his own turret, just try to push them off. But Shake That Ash is looking absolutely dominant in this game, just constantly pushing, constantly taking these good fights for them. And you have a 10-1 and 2 Jinx and a 7-1 and 9 Master Yi to show for it. So really impressive play coming out from Shake That Ash. And it's really just a wonder is how much longer are they going to take to finish this out. You did talk about, is there a play where you don't take the inhib? And the idea behind that, if you're not super well versed, as Black Beetle goes in on Nightwolf yet again here. Oh wait, 1 sec, we might have even more going on with Jubbin here as well. Oh no, Saint just got
another
caught.
fight breaking out in the jungle. Saint is caught out. Coyote getting the lockdown there with the Kennen passive. Jinx is going to get that, but another engage here. Black Beetle's going to be dropping. We'll see who picks this up. Jinx gets a double kill, picking up the Galio over off on the side of the screen. Saikaze going to grab Black Beetle. So this is an angle if they would like to transition over to Baron, because you have that massively fed Jinx, and it does look like they're going to take that gigantic neutral objective. And surprise, oh, no, we're back in. Okay.
We're back in. Yeah, so they're just going to take this Baron. It's not a problem with the Jinx so far ahead. But, the worry of taking an early inhibs before 20 minutes, if you don't have such a commanding lead like this, is very dangerous because it funnels a lot of EXP and gold into your opponents. And if you aren't 100% certain you can finish in the next 5-10 minutes, it may not be a smart idea to do it. But they feel pretty confident. Their Jinx is pretty far ahead, their Master Yi is pretty far ahead, and they're just going to keep taking these turrets. Coyote doing some damage. You only need a couple more autos in. There it is. But,
I'm looking to see, like, in this situation, you're 13,000 gold down. It's looking pretty bleak. You have the Baron buff going over to the enemy team. You do have a mid lane inhibitor down. But on the side of Red Clad Redemption, they do have some tools to be able to get on the back line. On the Jinx, Jinx is summonerless right now. You do have the Galio to be able to come in, but you need that Galio delivery system, right? So
Yeah.
I'm feeling like that's, on the Maokai and the Volibear to be able to get in. But at the same time, it just makes it really tough, because if you do that to take out the Jinx, with how this Yi is, he could absolutely shred the back line, and we're going to see a catch here on the Saint of Minnesota. All the CC drops. That is going to be the Maokai ult being released, but not long for this world. And this is going to be Shake That Ash definitely making a play to break open the base a little bit more.
Yeah, Shake That Ash. It's very hard. As you were saying, like if you put all of that into the Jinx, then the Yi goes off. If you use all of your disengage on the Master Yi, then the Jinx can just hit you from afar. It's a tough predicament to be in, and especially because the Morgana Black Shield. If you say like, "Hey, we're going in on Jinx," like Galio's ult takes so long to get down, and oh man, they catch Black Beetle again. And the Jinx is just going off. She should be able to... Oh, Kennen ult.
Yeah, 3-man stun on the Kennen ult. The Galio's going to come through, but this is going to be an absolute shred fest for the Jinx. That's a double, a triple coming through for the Jinx. She's excited. Down to 300 HP, but it doesn't really matter. The Maokai's not going to be able to step in close. Shredding the towers down. The Nexus in their sights. This is going to be Shake That Ash taking the win over Red Clad Redemption. A 15,000 gold lead, 31-10 kill line. So fantastic job on them. We're going to take a look at the stats from that game and see how everybody did. But wow.
24 minutes. Like that is, if you're playing Jinx, that is almost like that's the game you want. 16-1-3 in 24 minutes, and you just kind of got to do your thing. And it's so impressive to see these these players who are on a champion that they're comfortable on, and you get to see them play it out. Like Blueseye looked like he had no cares in the world, and it was just because like he knows that the Morgana is going to be able to protect him. He knows that the Kennen and the Malphite are going to be able to peel off of peel off any engage that it is. And Master Yi is causing enough of a problem that now you have to split, who do I go after? Do I go after the Jinx? Do I go after the Yi? And it became a point of, almost decision paralysis on the side of Red Clad, because you saw so many times where they had something where they could have gone in and they just didn't make the choice quick enough to catch the person that they were looking for. So
yeah, for sure. As we're taking a look at some replays from the match here, started to see where the Jinx started to get accelerated. 2-0-1 at that point, getting the double kill down there in the bot lane. Some trading kills on the opposite side of the map. So, the start here between these two teams, Red Clad Redemption did try to mitigate a lot of the advantages that were happening on the opposite side of the map by just addressing the other side. And they had the comp to be able to do that, bring in the Maokai, and then let the Galio roam. So being able to have that cross-map presence was really powerful. But just that acceleration, once the Yi gets ahead, it seems, and the Jinx on top of it, it just seems like you just get shredded so quickly. They get way ahead of the curve as far as like any armor that you could even get to slow things down, because at this point, even you look at here, this was actually the clean 3-0 on the side of Shake That Ash. Saikaze did get really low, but able to juggle the aggro really well, come back in, get the kill with the Alpha Strike, actually get the pickup there onto the Maokai, and then secure that fourth grub. I think that was a super pivotal moment there. And Red Clad Redemption had the right, idea. Like, we've got to contest. We can't just freely give this up. You have to make a stand early against that team, or they're just going to get absolutely out of control.
Yeah, it's fighting the snowball that has already been like, a quarter of the way down Mount Everest, right? It's already big enough as it is, and now you have to find a way to like just stop it. There's nothing you can really do, but you do try to find those small areas where you can make a pick on the other side, where you can do a trade for an objective. They tried to do that with the taking the dragon when their mid turret was being pushed, but the second that Jinx gets a kill, the second that they go in towards that turret and get that turret, I mean, you're just letting the Jinx get stack on top of stack on top of stack, and now your entire base is just completely open because your mid lane inhib is gone. Now you constantly have those supers pushing against you, so you can't really move over to the top side of the map where the Malphite is pushing, or down to the bot side where your Kennen is pushing. So they're doing a good job of pushing their advantage, and Shake That Ash just looked so dominant from, I would say about minute 6, minute 7, when when they started to rack up those early kills on important people, on the Master Yi, on the Jinx, and there's really nothing you can do once they get going. So pretty impressive game, and it's going to be interesting to see how these teams match up if they match up in the playoffs here. I don't know where that puts them in the standings, but there's a high likelihood that we're going to see some of these real interesting games get repeats, and see how people adapt for the playoffs. So
yeah, for sure. So both teams were tied heading into that matchup. So they were both tied at 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. So that is going to put Shake That Ash up to 2 and 2, and then drop Red Glade Redemption to 1 and 3. But for a special treat for everybody, our game 1 of Legends tier is not quite finished yet. So we're going to actually hop into that and take a look. And this should be, is this Grubba Dub taking on... you may have to remind me here. This is Green Team. Yeah. Grubba Dub versus... Oh, there it is at the bottom of the screen, of course. Good job, Justin. So here we are. We're hopping in to this. Grubba Dub is sporting a 1.2k gold lead heading into minute 22. And we didn't get to see draft, so we can kind of like talk about that. Right? Really, we talked about the Brand in the previous game. Brand is super flexible. This time we're not seeing Brand in the jungle. We are seeing Brand in the mid lane, but Brand can still be played bot lane as an APC. Brand can be played as a support. It's pretty wild. I like the Mordekaiser pick going through. I think Mordekaiser is really strong now, especially into a champion like Jinx, because with the QSS change, you can't really get out of it. But and then on the other side, Pathfinder has his Olaf to actually ruin the day of Mr. Player 2. So, Relic, what are you thinking, taking a look at these 2 drafts?
Yeah, I mean, the drafts, it's a really interesting thing, and as we see Pathfinder go in on, and this is what you're talking about, you get a little bit of CC immunity, and I think you could just go in up against this. Wow. Impressive.
The Bard ult does come through, and of course still CC immune, so don't have to worry about that. But that looks like it's going to be a double kill going over to the side of the green team. And so that's going to be them neutralizing that gold lead that Grubba Dub had is now instantly gone. Everything is pretty much even, but that is going to be the Baron power play going to be coming through for Green Team. They're going to grab that. This is definitely going to be a gold injection onto their side. One thing that I do find interesting about the Poppy pick is the Poppy really is only going to do anything to the Vi. Blocking those. Only the Q engages, not even the ult.
Right. Yeah, I'm almost wondering if the Poppy pickup was an early pickup to kind of prevent some of the other good engaged supports that are out there right now. But we got a fight setting up around Dragon, and the green team is already on this, and they have got to set up. That Ash ult hits, and that doesn't look like it did much there.
No, a huge fight breaking out, and that's going to be Olaf on the front line, taking up 3 different members. Hernandez Teaches does get in to be able to take out the Ash. Chica's running away as fast as his little Yordle legs will take him, but Jinx is excited. The zap goes a little wide. The ignite is not enough. Ched does take the magical journey to be able to pick up the last hit. The slap with the Bard auto with the empowered meats coming through, and that's going to give them free reign with this Jinx up and the Baron minions, and still 20 seconds at least on the Poppy. That's going to be opening up the base, and that goes back to our conversation earlier. Are they going to take this inhib? And as we discussed, they are going to opt not to. They're going to set this up to possibly double inhib Grubba on this next huge push.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty good play on their part. It's really interesting, though. You see that they get all the way up to that mid inhib before any of the other lanes have even taken a turret on their side. But that's just what happens when you get a good team fight like that. A mid-game team fight where you just take out the entirety, essentially, of the enemy team is allowing you to just take one lane, and that is now your lane. You are just going to take it. And mid lane, obviously, shortest lane, easiest one to take, these turrets in quick succession, which will benefit the Jinx taking the next turret and the next turret as her passive does. But also, it gives you a lot better opportunity to push forward your vision. And you can see, like, even though they're pushing out, like, the Grubba is trying to push out their vision back onto their side of the map. You've got that deep ward right before the mid lane entrance on blue side for green team, and that's going to give them so much information. Anytime anyone exits through mid or crosses over in that area, they're going to know, and they're going to be able to react to it a lot faster than anyone on the Grubba will really be able to make it an important roam. So I like the vision that the green team is pushing forward, and it also helps them get that next turret both on the top side and the bot side. So you open up one lane, and it just gives you the ability to freely push those other 2 lanes when it's mid lane, and I really like to see that. So now at this point, Grubba is just looking to, hey, we have to stabilize. We need to get some gold back. We need to find a good team fight. Ash needs to get a good pick onto somebody. It's probably needs to be the Jinx, just because, just like we saw last game, Jinx will go off on your team if you don't put too much on top of her and get her down immediately. But it's also very hard because with the ability to get snared like that, punched off of it with the Vi, or even for just Olaf to step in front of it with his ultimate, you can't really. You have a completely different issue. And oh man,
right.
Coach Dubs,
we do have a fight breaking out. Ash arrow does come through, but Dubs is getting the pick. That's going to be him dropping, and Jinx is excited, of course. So now we're going to get a second kill coming down, chasing down the Brand, and now is a great opportunity to go ahead and open up the base. Let's go ahead and take this inhib, and we'll see how aggressive they want to get. 30 seconds still on the Brand. They are going to push forward. They no longer have the Baron buff, so this is going to be, I think, a little sketchy. Hernandez Teaches barely missing out on the pull from Mordekaiser. Yeah, definitely smart to get here. Chu Phenom going to have to flash, and that is really an optimistic push there, but respect the effort, but also being able to disengage and not drop any members.
Yeah, I think the issue is they didn't really have a side lane that they could push in and try to make it a double inhib take. It's kind of unfortunate, you get to those points and oh my gosh, Chicas is going in on the Jinx, and there's the Bard ult to save him. Everybody's going to collapse on this. Who's going to come out on top?
Yeah, Jinx still has the flash. Is going to be a flash shot. Stays alive. Hits the Super Mega Death Throw onto the Brand. That's going to be the first kill dropping down. But Hernandez Teaches is going to drop super low, live for a little bit. Is going to eventually drop a trade of kills, 1-for-1 in that fight. Honestly, as Grubba, you really do take that. Blue turret is going to drop on the top side, though, because lo and behold, it was actually a 4v5. So Olaf in the top lane, still doing work. Chica's chasing down the Ched. Meanwhile, Olaf still pushing. Magical Journey does get barred out of the fight. Still chasing down. The wallbang does come through with Chica's. True Phenom gets the ult off, but does not do enough damage. But Jinx is back, fresh out of the base, with a full health bar, getting excited, chasing down. There's the snare on the Chicas. Definitely Jinx can run down. The zap does not connect. Great sidestep from the Poppy. But Olaf has made his way all the way from the top side of the map. He has hoofed it all the way over to Drake. We are now going to have the green team securing, barring some magical steal here from Chicas. Jumping in 1v4. That's going to be him dropping a soul point Drake, going over to the green team.
Yeah, that was just it really well played on the green team to keep the interest long enough for, not only for Olaf to get that top turret, but then to also be able to run all the way down. He's a fast champion, don't get me wrong, but even that, you have to keep them busy for a long time. We're going to be able to get over there. And now, after taking the dragon, taking the enemy jungler off the map, it's just another free Baron, and they're going to keep pushing this lead, and this is where I expect you're going to see these recalls. They're going to hit some more power off of these items, and I think you're going to be looking at a what could potentially be a final push. You've got Pathfinder on the Olaf just kind of splitting in the top side, and as people are getting out of base, they're all moving towards this mid lane. You're going to see it's going to roughly be a 1-3, just because Bard likes to tend to move between the lanes to pick up chimes and to keep his area where he's at unknown, so that way he can get a good ult onto somebody if he can catch them. But you're really going to start to see this map split, and I expect the green team, they just take this bot turret, and I think they're just going to keep this pressure up between the two. And wow, that Lux ultimate, and here comes the Jinx Rocket.
There's the rocket. That's going to start this fight off. Now Jinx is inside, shredding into Chicas, who is now on the front, channeling the ult, but does not get it off in time. Heru dancing around on the bottom side against that wall, but a great hook coming through with Coach Dubs, but that's not one you're going to want to hook into. Olaf now making his way, pushing that top lane down, so hopefully they can sync up these pushes. Baron buff still on Olaf. So with 30 seconds on Poppy, 20 seconds on Ashe, this should be a couple more tier 3s being opened up.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see that they actually did time it pretty well with the mid lane crashing. And now that Pathfinder is caught up on his push, there's really nothing you can do. Like the brand, he could probably push a little bit of the push off on this top side. But as soon as you go immune as Olaf, you're not really getting stopped by a brand.
Yeah, that's that was a certified Olaf moment. There, you
Absolutely.
just you popped your ghost and your ult, and it's just like, well, I guess I just run at you now. a great wall bang out of the magical journey, but Chicas is the one actually getting caught there. So this is now going to be a Baron push. You do have the Jinx here. They are going to open up. This is going to be a triple inhib. So double super minions are going to be coming out of every single wave from the green team, flooding into the Grubba-Dub-Dub base. They do have two waves here, 2 cannons as well. They're going to clear all these out. Don't know that they're going to have enough to be able to start approaching unless they get some sort of pick. Blue side middle inhib does respawn, so we're going to take that out really quick. And they're content to stay. They do have Baron buff here, so we'll see if they can go for the end. The Jinx Rockets are going to be able to outrange, and there's the first pick onto Coach Blizz. The ult does come through, but Olaf is shredding the back line. That is going to be Ashe already down. The Thresh is already down. Olaf taking out the Brand, and now we have the Nexus being focused as opposed to Mordekaiser, who limps his way onto the fountain, watching that Nexus explode in favor of the green team.
Yeah, that was really interesting because we came in a little bit blind to this, and coming in halfway in and seeing the green team down almost 1.5, almost 2,000 gold. And we immediately see them catch back up, right? We immediately see them get a good fight, get a good objective. And it's just really, really impressive to see, like, you get a team that knows how to turn a game around, and they did it. It was just like that. So we got some replays here from what we saw, and it's Chica's getting caught on this top side. And this, that's what we saw. It goes right in the Baron. And then this really nice fight at Dragon to the Shed Bard journey to get that last kill on Chicas. And, it's a game of picks in here. And if you get a pick that's a little bit too early for your team to get there, it just turns on you. And that's what we saw happen over and over again with Grub-a-Dub-Dub. And it's going to be interesting. Typically, the thing that I find the most engaging about a lot of the we're going to post-game stats here. But as we look at these stats and see a True Phenom, a 3-0-14 on that Lux, the Olaf, a 9-4-9 with the most damage in the game, just getting up in there, causing a ruckus in the middle, and then the Jinx giving supporting fire there as well. I'm super excited to see how these teams will adapt as we go into their game 2.
Yeah, the brand damage there is still absolutely nutty. Once you get into these comps that you don't have a lot of mobility on the side of the Jinx and the Lux. So if you can catch them grouped together, you drop that brand ult in there, and then you have the Poppy causing general chaos in there. You have the Thresh ult being able to slow people down. You get a lot of bounces off that ult. The brand passive pops up, and you have like all of this damage coming through. So even though the brand was 2,000 gold below the Lux, also 2 levels below the Lux, out damaged her by 3,000 damage. So there was definitely the opportunity for a carry, but at the point where you have going into versus an Olaf who you're not going to be able to stun them. There were, I think, maybe some rough lane assignments to be able to stop the Olaf. Once the Olaf got in that top lane, pop Ghost and run down the brand. It was just very difficult for them to answer that 1-4 split that they had going on. And, that's going to be the first game going over to the green team. And coming into tonight, green team is tied for first place, along with Genkenstein's Monsters and Face Checkers sitting at 4-2. And Grub-a-Dub-Dub is right there, though. So even though Grub-a-Dub-Dub is in 4th place, it's just outside of that 3-way tie for first. They're sitting at 3-3. So they're definitely looking to bounce back in this game too. We have a really competitive season this year in the Legends tier. So really excited to see what's going to happen. So I think we're going to be able to go to a break here, Coop, in my ear, if that is correct. We can take a little bit of a reprieve, get some water, try to rest these vocal cords a little bit. So yeah, so y'all stick around. Kyler and I will be right back after this break for game 2 between Grub-a-Dub-Dub and Green Team.
Yeah. Welcome
And we are
back.
back. We are back for game 2. We have the game 2 matchup now coming through for Grubba Dub Dub versus Green Team. And if you're just now joining us, we did see Green Team take down game 1, and glory hallelujah, we are immediately into the draft, taking a look. Now, we didn't see the bans from game 1, Kyler, but looking at it now, it doesn't look like any bans coming through from the previous draft, other than that Poppy that we just see.
Yeah, I mean the Poppy, but I expect this probably looks like a lot of the same bands you would have seen from last game. I would like to note that we do have a side selection swap. Green Team is now on blue side, I believe. Grubba Dub Dub chose to take red side here. And I think it brings up an interesting question as the Amumu gets picked first. We see a lot more priority in the jungler picks this season, which I'm kind of surprised about. Typically, you're looking at the bot lane to be the first pick, but Amumu and then the Kayn response. Don't know if I would personally go Kayn into an Amumu. I feel like I would want to play something that kind of matches him, but no, the Kayn and then the Maokai pickup. So we are seeing a little bit more of that bottom side focus after the fact. But I'm interested to get your thoughts as we go through draft. Which side you think is better, both as a player and as a coach? Like if you're playing in a game, would you rather be blue side or red side? If you're coaching, would you rather be drafting for blue side, red side? I think it changes, and right now it's kind of a toss up for me.
Yeah, I think it's really going to depend on your confidence coming in. I mean, with your team comp, if you've got some really strong pocket picks prepared that are super dependent on enemy team comp, I love red side. Just if you can hold that final R5 pick to be able to say, you know what, this is actually a Katarina angle. You're never going to first pick Katarina. If you do, like you're hard trolling if you first pick Katarina. But if you've got a team that's really prioritizing like power picks, as far as like I'm pushing, like I just a full on meta slave. Like I know that this one particular champion will, no matter whether or not it particularly fits into our comp, the game would really mold around that champion. I really prefer blue side for that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Let's talk about the burning elephant in the room then, of that meta defining pick of Brand, who has not been picked or banned yet. It's moved this far down. So I think, and I was a little surprised there when I saw the Xayah pick, but it is typically a good option against things like Amumu, like Bard here. So I like the Xayah pickup in terms of like the self peel angle of it. But I tend to agree with you. If you are confident in your pocket picks, if you're confident in what you've got, the Mordekaiser ban as well as the Olaf. So I'm almost wondering, are they actually looking to move that Maokai into the top lane? Because Maokai would not strive very well against those two picks. We saw the Olaf just go off last game, but also the Mordekaiser is a really tough matchup for him. And then on the side of Green Team, they're banning out the Ziggs, they're banning out the Swain, keeping that mid lane pool relatively small. You're always going to have trouble in one of your lanes with who is going to be the one that gets targeted the most in terms of, this is who we're focusing on. And the Vex pickup. So this is actually really interesting. I'm really liking this as, people know me as a jungler here, but I'm also a mid lane enjoyer, and Vex is one of my main picks in the mid lane. So I'm really excited about that. And it's going straight into the Malzahar to kind of counter it. It does a decent job with the innate spell shield, and you've got a lot of like protective stuff. Once she does get in on you, you can ult in, you can silence her on her way in, all that kind of stuff. So I do like that response. And is that what I think it is? Oh, wait.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna get bamboozled.
Don't do it.
Production is going
team.
wild in our ears right now with the Teemo hover. It's gotta be Garen.
Yeah, that is quite unfortunate. We don't get to see the Teemo play in the regular season here. Unfortunate. But no, I think this team comp that you see on green team, they're still playing with the Jinx, but because you don't have the Olaf, because you don't have that way of getting in very fast, they needed to find a new pivot angle. And I actually really like Garen as a pseudo Olaf, but the Camille response. So it does look like the Maokai is going in the bot lane with Xayah, and that Camille's going to be fighting up against Garen. It's a very volatile matchup. If you misstep even once against Camille, it's really just over for you as the Garen, even with your innate resistances on the W, popping your W to get that extra little damage resist and shield. I think that's going to be, it seems like Grubadub wants to try to rein in the top lane a little bit more in their favor with a more aggressive pick with that Camille. So no, I'm finding this very interesting because we've seen a couple different styles of comps throughout the night, and this comp from Grubadub seems almost a little bit disjointed from my looks, but I want to see your thoughts on this Grubadub team here.
Yeah, the thing that doesn't really jive with me very well is the Xayah. I think that's the only one that really stands as an outlier on the side of Grubadub. Simply because you're wanting to dive with the Kayn, the Vex, and the Camille. And Xayah is the premier self-peeling, you run into me and you're going to get absolutely shredded. So Xayah is not the I'm pushing forward with the rest of the team. Xayah is they're pushing into me and I can turn this fight around. So for me, that's the only thing that's a little disjointed. I like the Camille pick coming through because you can match the split for the Garen. Garen doesn't have to absolutely steamroll his lane, but if you leave a Garen alone in the side lane, once you get to the mid game and the late game, it just becomes extremely annoying. So the Camille coming through to be able to match that. But, if you have the Camille getting a solo kill on the Garen, and Camille should be rocking TP, then you can instantly transfer that Camille down to the other side of the map, and then you could just all in the other team very, very easily with the Kayn diving in through the walls. You got the Vex ultimate coming through, and then the Camille doing the lockdown as well. On the other side, I do like the Malzahar answer, not so much for the Vex, but I do like the Malzahar answer for the Kayn. Kayn is really slippery, and being able to, or being in a situation where you're unloading everything you possibly can into the Kayn, and then he pops his ult, and then when he comes out of his ult, he's back at 75% HP, is absolutely infuriating when you're trying to kill him. So the Malzahar ultimate, I believe that Malzahar pick was primarily a response to the Kayn, but either way, I think that they do have enough CC to be able to set up the Jinx. I think that everything does really work well. I think Bard, even as an initiation tool, to set up the Amumu as well. Amumu's Qs and ultimates are really telegraphed. I mean, we don't see a lot of Amumu in pro play simply because that teams are a lot more coordinated and they have a lot of advanced vision, and they're going to be able to see the Amumu coming from 2 screens away. But the great thing about a Bard is the Bard ult comes in from 3 screens away. So you're going to have the Bard ult coming in, locking down potentially multiple high-value targets on Grubadub, giving the Amumu and the Jinx enough time to get in, get position, and once you pop that Amumu ult as they come out of the Bard ult, well, then you have that great synergy there for the Jinx to be able to shred, in addition to the Malzahar, being able to peel. So I really do like that aspect of their of their comp. It's just a matter of you do have the answer on the side of Grubba if the Camille gets ahead, then you're not going to see the Camille in those team fights potentially. She becomes an absolute split push menace.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And I think your point out of Malzahar really being up against the Kayn is a good one. And you talk about, Kayn ults you, comes out with 70% of his health back. That implies that we're going to see Red Kayn. And, from the get-go, Red Kayn has always been considered the better of the two in the higher elo, in the higher play. And it's typically better in lower elo because it's a lot safer of a pick. It's a lot easier to, kind of mess up and still be able to live, still be able to contribute. So the thing that interests me is Green Team, aside from the Garen and the Amumu, is the Kayn really going to be able to hit Red Kayn in a fast enough time? He's going to have to do some invades. He's going to have to, gank that top side to be able to get to Red Kayn faster and to become that, essentially a drain tank menace that he can become. So that gives Green Team a lot of opportunity to say, hey, we know what you're trying to do. We're going to prevent that, one, by picking a relatively squishy ranged comp so that way you don't feel as good about going Red Kayn. But also, it's just hey, we have ways to lock you down before you can even start picking up your stuff. So as we're getting into going into game here, I am kind of excited to see this. I do think, with momentum and everything, Green Team is obviously on the upswing with their turnaround in game one and, closing it out in a very dominant fashion. And I do think that between the two teams, I like their team better. So I'm kind of expecting, Grubba they've got a little bit of a mountain to climb, but I think they can do it if they play to their strengths, which is your Vex, your Kayn, diving in, the Camille split pushing, those types of things.
Yeah, for sure. And just to remind everybody too, when we hopped into game one, we were getting into that moment. It was about 23 minutes in, and Grubba was actually sporting a 1,500 gold lead. Not great, not a gigantic gold lead. However, a gold lead nonetheless. So, from the limited information we have, for all intents and purposes, it looked like a very even game up until 23 minutes in. So I think that they can bring that in with them as a motivation and an encouragement to know, okay, yeah, we lost, but man, we were really in it for 23 minutes in, and we had the damage coming through on the brand, and we were in a position to win the game, but they had that crazy team fight on the top side of the map that then turned into that Baron, and then it ballooned that 1.5k deficit that Green Team had actually into a 6,000 gold lead after that because of another one team fight, then the additional towers and all that stuff. So looking at now, we are in game doing a fantastic scenic flyby from our observer. So shout out to Coop. That's hot. So we're
Cooper Blimp. Always nice to see. I would like, esports gear blimp as they call it. I would like to point out, obviously these lanes are going to, look a little explosive, especially if Coach Dubs gets an early, snare in on something. But I do like to see, there's two different ways that people have been playing the jungle pathing. You're either starting you're starting whatever side of the map your AD carry support is, you're getting the leash, and then you're doing a full clear. Or what we are seeing the Kayn do is he's starting his Raptors and doing a full clear through that. And Kayn, a lot of your junglers nowadays can take Raptors at level 1. You've got a lot of, Brand, Amumu, Kayn, Maokai. A lot of these big junglers have ways to start Raptors. But the fact that the early game, you saw the Vex get a ward in on the blue side Raptors, I think it might have actually changed a little bit of pathing for both of these players because, now Amumu had to go the long way around Raptors before, so he wasn't seen on that Raptors, so they didn't really know where he was. And now Kane has to play in a little bit more of a, hey, I should just full clear because I don't see where the Amumu is. So I find, the adaptation in game is almost as important as like just being able to play your style of comp. And it's a really good thing to see both of these teams really adapting to the situations that they're being put in. And I cannot wait to see where these two actually kind of clash at, because it looks like it might be on this bottom side scuttle here as Amumu is positioning. Oh, he's coming in for a gank at level 4.
Yeah. There's the Q coming in, going to lock down the Maokai. The Jinx traps go down. It's going to lock Coach Dubs in place. He's dancing around it. The second Q charge comes through. Is going to pick up the kill first for Hernandez Teaches, but he should be dropping here. He is not. He's actually going to get out of there. It looks like he leveled up off the minions. Maybe a heal possibly from Ched as well. And that is going to be first blood going over to Green Team from those 2 Q charges coming through from the Amumu. Meanwhile, Kane was able to snag that bot lane scuttle. So we were talking about where they were going to go. We were watching them on the mini map. They both finished their full clears. Kane did opt for the scuttle when Amumu went ahead and went for the gank. So all in all, it does result in a 1,000 gold advantage already in favor of the Green Team.
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting because you actually see, like I was saying, I wouldn't normally pick Kane into an Amumu because I don't think it's clear matches the Amumu. And you see, like, they both were able to get there at the same time, roughly, with the same amount. Like, obviously, Kane stopped to get the scuttle, which put him a little bit farther behind. But the fact that they both did a full clear and Amumu had to go up to his top side before coming back and doing Raptors and Krugs just shows the speed of his clear. And that is, an early game clear. If you're trying to get onto the map and out into the lanes faster, that's so important that you can do stuff like that. Just do your full clear faster than the enemy jungler so you can make your impact faster. Or when you go in, if he tries to counter gank you, he doesn't have as many camps taken, and his camps are starting to respawn and resetting his pathing and everything. So I think it's really, really good play from Hernandez Teaches. He's doing a really good job of kind of being a question mark always in Grubadub Dub's head. Where is he at? Where is he going next? And, as you start to get later into the game, obviously, you get more wards, you're going to be able to track the jungler a lot faster, but early game tracking is where it really matters. And the fact that Hernandez Teaches was able to throw off that early game tracking with just his one little change in pathing, it gives them $1,000 or 1,000 gold lead in the early game. Tripping over my words here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, but Amumu has that advantage over Kane in the early game in the sense that he can pull off his own ganks. He doesn't need a lot of setup. And so with both champions now finishing, really their second clear, we are going to start to see them get a little more active in here. Amumu going through, getting some warding down onto that Drake. And it looks like with the push in the bot side, we are going to have Green Team go ahead and start up the first Drake here. That is the Hextech Drake. And obviously they're going to take 2 of these Drakes before we see what the actual soul is going to be. But Kane looks interested in contesting this. Smite is up. Maybe look to go through the walls, but not going to get there in time. So instead, going to take his attention over to the Malzahar. But that is a level 5 Kane versus a level 7 Malzahar. The ult from the Vex comes through. Flash over the wall. Malzahar getting out of there with the flash. TP is down. So this does put him in a little bit of a tricky situation where Vex can possibly get this push in, collapse the wave, and then get a really good reset in to get back in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Ched playing the Bard, trying to be aggressive, getting, if you've ever played Bard, and I definitely suggest if you want to learn how to play a roaming champion, Bard is the best one to do it on. But while I talk about this, Chicas and Hernandez Teaches, and now Coach Gliz is here, this could be a kill onto Hernandez Teaches, and it is.
Yeah, both ults coming through there. We did see the smite coming through to secure the scuttle for Chicas to be able to get that for red side, and then the double ults coming through. The Camille come over the wall. It's more trading in the bot side. Magical Journey out from Ched. Pathfinder engaging and trading there with Coach Gliz in the top lane. But I would definitely say great pick in the top side, and that's one of the benefits of this Camille being able to get out of lane. The first Garen ult coming through, and Chica's going to barely escape that with the healing that he's getting through that Umbral Trespass through the wall.
Just barely misses the math there on the Garen, and it actually does a good job. He was able to push the wave up into the turret, so that way he had the freedom to come down. As you know, if you're Camille, you don't want to foul behind in CS against the Garen. You just can't do that. So you have to go up there and catch the wave. That allows the Garen to come down and impact the grub take. And it actually made it so that in an area where they lost the fight in the top lane, they still get 2 grubs out of it for Green Team. And, you know, all it takes is those small micro wins on those, like, you know, what would normally be a negative play. And it all came from knowing how. Oh, and we have a pause coming through here.
Oh, no.
We're back.
And we're back.
Didn't even get time to speculate on it.
Yeah, got a little bit of a bamboozle there.
So I definitely think Green Team is doing a really good job of maintaining composure in areas where a lot of times you would see. I think we're getting a little bit of the spectator delay with these network issues here real quick, as the Vex Q is mid-flight. And we're back.
All right.
Probably the pause impacting something there. But yeah, like I was saying, Green Team doing a really good job of playing a calm and collected play style, doing what they know is going to get them their advantages, and they maintain about a 500 gold lead with it. You know, and I'm excited to see how they keep pushing their advantages and trying to make sure that this game stays in their favor. You know, going into these mid game, going into the team fight, and you know, the level 8 Garen going into level 9 Camille always feels scary, but with the amount of resistance he gets. We got the Camille.
Sure, there's another Camille ult. That should be a dead Garen, but he's going to spin to win and survive that one. But he is going to actually, he's got TP, so he should be able to get back here. And the lane is going to push in, but I think he's going to be just fine to be able to TP in and collect this. He's actually TPing onto the wave, so that's going to force the Camille off. And another engager. There is the Vex ult in, and then the Camille. I'm sorry, the Kayn falls away. Here is the Bard ult coming through, locking down 2, but that should be Hernandez Teaches dropping this time to Key, and another kill picked up this side on Grubadub. So starting out with a kill lead this game, 2-1, still down about 600 gold. A lot of that. With the dragon that was picked up. We also have a lot of plates going over to the side of the Green Team. But all in all, Grubadub hanging in there. This is not... I'm assuming this is looking similar to what was going on in Game 1, but another collapse here in the mid lane. True Phenom is going to drop the ult, but it's not going to be enough to get Key. And that's going to be another kill going over to Grubadub. So now... it's essentially eliminating the gold lead for the Green Team, now sitting at a 3-1 kill score, both tied up at 18.7 or 8K.
Yep. And here we have the Garen. He's left alone in the top lane. He's being a problem, as we expected. You know, wow, is he about to get a third plate here? Almost. Coach Gliz gets back and is able to push him off, say, hey, that's enough plates. Your dinner is done, cutting you off. But it's just the amount of wave clear, and he's able to push this next wave to crash in. I don't know. He's looking to try to posture to get this final plate, but Coach Gliz is keeping him off pretty well here. I think the plate still falls here. Yep, there it is. And he still gets the local gold. He will, looks like, die for it. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, playing on the edge of glory there, you're always hoping you got to get that extra little bit, but Oh, Kiriki is caught here.
Yeah, another fight here breaking down. That's going to be the silence going through with the Malzahar Q. The Super Mecha Death Rocket goes a little bit wide. Hernandez Teach is still alive, but that's going to be the Feather pull through, going to pick up the Amumu. Zaya still up, a TP coming through. This is going to be the Camille coming in on half HP, though. True Phenom is still up, does have the ult, locks down the Camille. That's going to be a kill. A flash over the wall into the Dragon Pit, but a follow flash from Mr. Player 2 chasing another fight into the jungle. This is a fight on all fronts, split across. K-Root, still healthy, does pick up the Bard heal. That's going to get him excited running on the other side near the Dragon Pit. Mr. Player 2 does pick up the kill onto True Phenom. There is blood splattered all over the bottom side of the map. The camera could not pick up all of it, but when the dust settles, that is going to be 6 kills to 4. Grubadub Dub still keeping the gold really close, but now a 700 gold lead in favor of Green Team, and they're actually in a really good position to be able to start this Drake 2 if they get Chicas. There is the Amumu ult coming through as well, locking him up. So that is going to be definitely the second Drake of the game going over to Green Team.
We look up on the top side of the map. Garen, after pushing in the wave, is getting those grubs. He's trying to finish up getting at least 2 more grubs, it looks like, and he didn't get them in time. The Rift Herald spawns. That is so tragic. He only needed 2. It's very hard as a Garen to get those grubs because even with your spin, it's not doing a ton of damage. But it was worth the effort on the other side of the map. And it's crazy that we see this happen again and again. You take a fight, you get a good spot, and as you go to set up for the next objective, you get caught. And it's been happening almost on a repeat across all of these games here. And it comes down to knowing your limits, right? A lot of times players, even in pro play, you'll see people slip up and because they think their limit is a little bit higher than it is. And Pathfinder just spinning on top of Coach Gliz here, able to put a lot of damage down. But you need to know when you can and cannot push forward for a fight. The Amumu was coming back, and I think that was the main reason that K-Root and Chad felt so safe, staying near the dragon and trying to take that scuttle, because they knew that Hernandez Teachos was going to get back in time. And there's a little bit of a dive underneath, but with Chicas there, Pathfinder's going to back off. This posturing between the Kayn and the Amumu is fascinating.
Yeah, it's a little spooky though with that tower only having, just a few hits down. Plates are gone. I mean, that tower is, it's paper thin now, especially to this Garen. So if the Amumu stuck around and that fight did break down, so we do see the all-in, the dodge. That was interesting. It looked like he dodged the Garen ult with the Camille ult, but then it still ended up going through afterwards. Yeah. So that was a very interesting interaction.
Because the Camille ult, and here we go, True Phenom getting the ult on Kiriki and just barely not getting the kill on it. But I think what it is because it technically cancels the ult resets itself and you're just able to use it pretty much immediately. It's not like some of these other channel ults like Caitlyn where it goes on a 15-20 second cooldown if you're if they get killed while you're channeling the ult and everything. So that's probably what happened there, and it allowed him to get the kill under the turret, then take the turret. You saw him not even drop turret aggro, but we've got an engage going on to K-Root down here on the bot side. Chicas.
Yeah, it's going to be the cleanse coming through. K-Root does get away from the tower. The tower gets turned off from the Bard ultimate. Chicas eating the ignite damage as well, but going to kind of go through the walls. We'll see if the Trespass comes through. That's going to be a flash stride breaker to slow down the Kayn, and that's going to be Pathfinder picking up that kill. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, we do have Camille pushing, but not pushing as quickly as we have Hernandez Teaches and True Phenom in the mid lane. With the help of those minions, they're going to go ahead and get that tier 1 in the mid lane, open the map up a little bit more. So now at this point, we do have 2 towers taken on the side of Green Team to 0 on Grubadub Dub. So the map's getting a lot smaller for the red side right now. Not feeling like they're going to be able to make those plays as easily. They should be able to see the Kane coming in aggressively from a distance, but now it's a matter of, what is your play here? What is your angle for Grubba-Dub-Dub? Because they see it now. Once you get to this point where your towers are starting to drop and you don't have any on your side, your 2 dragons down as well. Even though you can't press tab and see the gold lead, as we have another engage here, Karu is going to flash there. Remember, the cleanse is already gone, but be able to flash after the ult connects and get away from the fear was really, really impressive there. But what is the... You can't just press tab and see, okay, we're 3,000 gold down, but you feel it. Like, at this point, you do know. So, here I was about to answer my own question. They're going to answer for me. Ched does get knocked out of the Magical Journey, so that's going to be a first kill picking up from Kiki to Key. But Pathfinder in the middle of 3, Magical Journey is still available. Chica's going to miss on that the Q there, but we do have the lockdown coming through. Not going to be enough. Coach Gliz is going to be able to pick up the kill. And now we have a double kill coming through for the Camille. Those are clean trades. We have no deaths on the side of Grubba-Dub-Dub. And just as I was asking the question, Relic, like, what do? They turn around and they do it.
They answer it, yeah. I mean, it's smart. You find the pick that you can make, and you make the pick right in front of an objective that you then get to transition those, kills into. And they got, 3 kills. They were able to get the Drake. They were able to stop the Herald from charging a second time. I don't even know if it charged into the first turret. I didn't quite see that. But, they played around their strength. They were able to pick out the Bard, which allowed them to get the advantage. You no longer have to worry about, a Bard ult is going to just save their entire team because he's going to protect their carries or whatever. You've picked him out, and now you can just kind of run rampant with the, with Chica's being able to go through walls and get in on somebody. The Vex, if you get an ult, it gets to go in. And even like Coach Gliz, you saw him come along on the backside, and Pathfinder looking to get Kiriki, and man, that's damage is just insane. Oh my
yeah. Once
goodness.
the Garen gets close enough to stride breaker you, it's like, well, you're not having fun anymore. But a lockdown onto Chica's this time. That is the Malzahar Orc coming through. That's going to be Chica's dropping. Now Mr. Player 2 in a tough spot. The tower's going to be shut down, but there's that power of the Xayah being able to kite back, use the ultimate, self-peel. Coach Dubs in a little bit of trouble. Great Blast Cone is going to dodge out the Super Mega Death Rocket. Coach Dubs getting close to this tower, but that Amumu ultimate is there to be able to lock him down, prevent that escape. So another kill back in favor of the green team. But now that gold lead that was there has been cut down to less than 2,000 gold. But meanwhile, with a dead jungler on the side of Grubba-Dub-Dub, green team's definitely going to take advantage of the free time they're going to have on this Baron buff.
Absolutely. And with the Jinx, she's not as strong as we've seen. And oh no, Kiriki gets caught as they're trying to go in and make a hero play. The Baron did fully reset, so it gives Grubba-Dub-Dub time to come in. But we see the Garen TP. He was going to go towards bot side, but he needs to be up here for this fight to make it a 5v3 right now. The Maokai had to back, and they're posturing, trying to get something to happen. Pathfinder with the Q on the Gliz, but oh no.
Yeah, suppression down this time onto Chica's. But we do have Mr. Player 2 relatively untouched here. Does step forward, get one pill. A lot of low health bars. Unfortunately, it's just a Maokai. But Baron is on the side of Grubba-Dub-Dub, taking the kill. Possibly going to get Pathfinder as well.
Oh,
he
my
does. That's a double
gosh,
kill
he
over
takes
the side of
two
the
of
Maokai. You can do it, Maokai. Who's going to get it? It's going to go over to Jinx. But Maokai is still here. Vex is up, making her way over. Come on, Maokai. You can do it.
He's trying so hard to get the Bard. Oh, man. Wow. That was impressive. So now the Baron is only on the Jinx and the Bard, which, it's a little unfortunate. I don't think you needed to put both the Garen and the Amumu to die to the Baron, but, they tried to keep it, they tried to keep pushing their lead, and honestly, just the Maokai being able to play spoiler to half of the team getting Baron there, I think, Grubadub will take that because it means it's a less pushing power on the side of green team. You have 2 less people who can potentially have that Baron buff, so that means that at most you get only 2 lanes pushing. And honestly, you're not typically splitting up the Jinx and the Bard into 2 separate lanes. It's either they're in the same lane or Bard is just kind of roaming to, catch his grubs, catch his chimes, and be in that, oh, you guys can't see me, so I can ult you from 3 screens away, as you were saying. So I think, you're kind of having to play a little bit more careful with a Baron buff when it's only on these 2, where, Grubadub is just like, you know what, we stemmed the bleeding a little bit on that. We're able to kind of reset it and get it into our time. And we still have to catch up. We still are about 3,000 gold behind, but they're catching up in terms of these kills. They're catching up in terms of these objectives, and they're trying to make it relatively even. And oh no, Pathfinder catching Coach Gliz out here, but doesn't look like he's finishing that fight.
No, they're not interested. You made a good point. I think this Baron buff would be exponentially different if it were on the Garen. Moving that Garen into the side lane, just a split push menace at this point in the game. But because of that, like you said, they're stemming the bleeding. But one of the things that I do like about Grubadub is we do have a catch here onto the Vex, the flash, but not quite far enough to get away from the Amumu ultimate. The Bard ult comes through, dashed out by Chicas. The lockdown comes through, but not quite going to interrupt the Malzahar. So Kayn hobbling away, does have the dot on him from the Malzahar, but that's going to be a second kill picked up on the side of green team. So this should be Dragon Soul point in favor of green team. Garen was not quite finished with the fight. Meanwhile, we do have Coach Gliz on the top side with that Triforce, and the Ravenous Hydra is in full-on split push mode. So when these fights do break out on the other side of the map, green team has to know they're going to be, bleeding those towers on the opposite side, and they're actually going to lose the mid-tier 1 as well because Zaya's in a really good position to transfer over. So all in all, 2 kills over to the side of green team, but I do like that, Grubadub did have a really positive response there. It's a net loss for them, but it could have been much worse had they not been able to salvage those towers. So now we are going to see the chase down coming through with Coach Gliz. Does have the Ignite available as well. Xayah is on the way. We do have Vex in the area with ult available. But, with the Vex does... It's kind of like a wild card as far as being able to turn some of these fights on the Jinx. A well-placed Vex ultimate being able to tag the Jinx and this crucial fight could change it because the Jinx doesn't have a lot of ways to outplay that and survive that, not like a Xayah would, being able to ult to safety. So there's still a lot of potential there for this Vex to make a really team fight swinging play and blowing up that massive AD carry on the other side of the map.
Absolutely. And, if you do it just well enough that you also catch Ched, it means that you can burst down the Jinx before the Bard even comes close to getting his ult off, which that's what you want to not have to worry about. You don't want to have to worry about, the Jinx going in or Jinx getting caught. And, here we got a catch on to Hernandez Teaches. Gonna get real low.
Yeah. Great Amumu ult and a great feather pullback. The Bard ult does come through to lock every down, turns everybody golden. But when the dust is settling, we do have a triple kill over from the Jinx. The Jinx was not able to be taken out. Takes a tower shot, but Ched going to be chased down. Coach Gliz is still in the fight. We'll see if this one-on-one can be won, but it doesn't look like it. That's going to be a lot of damage coming through. An Infinity Edge on the side of Garen. He is definitely spinning to win. This should be a mid lane tier 2 dropping in favor of the green team. And it looks like they're going to push forward a little bit more because we have the excitement on the Jinx.
Yep. Absolutely, and bot lane is pushing, so it does kind of create that split pressure. Karu is just going to go ham on this mid lane turret. He's going to be able to take it before anybody is even close to being able to stop him. And here's the question, and it does look like they are trying to take the inhib. I think that they're in a good position that they can take that inhib. The Baron is up in about 30 seconds, a little bit less than that. You can reset and get out really quickly, especially with some Bard tunnels. You can get out to the fight at the time that you need to be there, right? Because obviously there's a lot of teams that like to get in early and set up. This team doesn't have to. Hernandez Teachers can go in. True Phenom can walk in and suppress something. Karu can just kind of, pelt from afar as they're walking in, so you don't have to be right up on the Baron. And oh my gosh, looks like Coach Gliz going on True Phenom, who does fall.
Yeah, fights breaking out on multiple fronts over here near the red buffs side of the red quadrant. We have the Vex ult coming through on a Pathfinder. There is the Bard ult. Just going to delay the inevitable. This is going to be Garen going down, but Baron is up. So whoever wins this team fight is in a great position to make the spectator client bug out. So now we have the fight picking right back up. The double kill coming through for the Jinx. Make that a triple kill. And that's going to be green team in prime position to take the Baron for them. And lo and behold, take a look at the mid lane. Those super minions are right on time, crashing into the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, right before the spectator glitched out there, we saw, like Chicas and Kikiriki had gotten onto Karu, but there was just enough peel for Karu to back off and stay safe and just heal back off with the Bloodthirster and just doing all of the damage across. And now they're going to push the top lane turret. You got to be careful of Coach Gliz going in with that hook shot. But nope, looks like he is just going to farm up the wave, and they're going to go back to, trying to finish out this game through their basic, just take a team fight that you're ready for. Don't overextend, don't overstay, don't overpush. And it looks like they're setting up for this dragon here. Karu might be caught here in the mid lane, but his team is really close. It's going to be really tough for Grubadub to even come close to getting onto Karu at this point.
Yeah, this is kind of the last stand. Dragon Soul, you don't want to give that up. There's the Vex ultimate, but it is onto the Ched. The ult does go in, does get the fear, but look at Karu being untouched on the backside of the fight. Straight through. There's the first kill coming through. There's the second on to Coach Dubs. Karu's still free firing. Mr. Player 2 steps forward. He's going to eat some rockets himself. No player has dropped so far from the green team. It is a 4-for-0 on that kill line. Super minions pushing into the mid lane. We do have a gigantic wave pushing its way up in the bot lane. Garen and Jinx tag team onto that dragon, going to take it out. Ched just being absolutely annoying, chasing down the Vex. And slap him with a few meeps. Going to eat a couple of tower shots, see if he can swag walk his way out. He does grab a meep and get a heal. And Bard is living. So a clean 5-0 ace in favor of the green team as they march through the bot lane and mid lane. And that is going to be a 2-0 on the night in favor of green team over Grubadub.
Yeah, and that is just really impressive play from green team. Even in those times where they had gotten pushed back, they were able to, stay in it. I'm also really impressed just overall by Grubadub being able to find the small plays that they can make, right? They're trying to get something back. They're trying to get a catch. They're trying to push on the other side of the map. And they were doing a decent job. I think where it kind of faltered is you're going in on someone and then the Garen can TP in. And even if you get the kill on True, on that Malzahar in the top lane, the Garen just comes in, one-shot somebody, and then walks out because that's what Garen does. So it feels bad to say that, you were in such a bad spot that even the TPing Garen in the middle of 4 people can get a kill and walk out. That's just where they were. And some of it's because of how Garen plays and how strong of a champion he is. But also a little bit of it is because you're using so much to catch that first one. They had to use the Camille ult. They had to use a lot of their damage just to kill True Phenom. before Garen even got there. And then Garen's like, oh, you guys don't have any way of, holding me down or doing a lot of damage. I'll just kill one person and walk out with no problem. So, it's a combination of things, but I just think really overall, great gameplay from both of them. Green team obviously just barely pulling out the, that win in the team fight in the first game that allowed them to catapult forward, and then being able to maintain their steady advantages in the second game to eventually close out in a relatively dominant way in that second half of the game. So I'm really impressed by both of these teams, what I'm seeing. Congratulations to Green Team for going 2-0 in their final week, putting them at 6-2 right now. So, that's going to be a tough one to beat. They might have that first seed. They might have to kind of fight somebody for that first seed. We don't know, but really strong performances. And I have to say, seeing how well both the Olaf and the Garen play from Pathfinder, that I think is really, really impressive. Almost more so than, Kayru being able to go off on Jinx 2 games in a row. So.
Yeah, it's definitely an enabling factor, right? If you have that double-pronged approach where the enemy team is having to figure out, right, who actually can we focus on here? Because you can't just go on the Jinx because the Garen is going to absolutely mutilate your backline. And it was the same thing with the Olaf. You can't just dump everything onto the backline because then the Olaf is just going to wreak havoc on the enemy team. So this, or on the backline. So this is something that other teams are going to have to consider going into playoffs is how do you address this strength that Green Team has in a very strong top and bot lane combo, because we see the spacing from Kayru was really, really good. And of course, that's not to discredit, jungle and mid and all that, because they all are cohesively working together. But, when you look at it, those were the gigantic threats, and you did have that pick in the Malzahar coming through, and that is a team-based pick. That is not a give me Malzahar, I'm going to carry. That is give me Malzahar so that I can help enable some things. So they did enable it. This, as you said, this does put Green Team at 6-2. The next two teams below them, Genkenstein's Monsters and Face Checkers, are both tied at 4-2. So they will play their matchup, my understanding is next Wednesday or sometime next week. It was supposed to be tonight, so that's getting delayed. There is going to be a little reschedule there. But those two teams are going to play. So if one of those teams 2-0s the other, then we would be all knotted up in that first place, and we may have to go to that head-to-head matchup and how they did. All I can say is I know Face Checkers went 1-1 with Green Team. So that's all I know. I don't know how Genkenstein's Monsters did versus them.
Yeah, no,
I
was there. Oh man, yeah. I think what I'm seeing, and obviously, I've talked about it multiple times. My first year, doing Coach Rivals, but what I've seen out of all of these teams is the ability to adapt, to play to their strengths, and the ability to, even when they're down, is to keep playing and keep playing for what they're looking for. And I expect a loss like this is not going to, completely, throw Grub-a-Dub-Dub out of the contention. I still think they have a chance in the playoffs. Now you need to think about, okay, where do I reset? Where do I try to find, what can I do better next time I go against this team? Do I need to prioritize that Jinx to be banned or picked away from Kayru? Do I need to do something to put Pathfinder on something that's not really as much of a, get up in your face threat? How do we, kind of stabilize against that? And, I think if there's any teams that can do it, Grub-a-Dub-Dub has the ability to do it. You saw it with a lot of their picks. The Camille pick was specifically to prevent the Garen from getting ahead. That's what Camille does. So I'm interested to see where things move forward. I'm super excited to see, the next week of play. And I'm really excited to see, hey, where do these teams go as they get into the playoffs? And I'm excited to watch those.
Yeah, it based on my limited initial analysis here, it does look like the results of this match is going to lock Grub-a-Dub Dub facing one buff, two buff, red buff, blue buff for that play-in spot in playoffs next week. So, fortunately for both of those teams, it does appear from a limited knowledge outsider's point of view that they should know their matchup. And so, but as you're alluding to, if you win that matchup next week, your prize is to then face Green Team in the first round of playoff. So you are, like, as you said, like, you've got to be preparing for it already. You've got to go ahead and not assume that you're going to win and not prepare, but you're preparing, 2 steps ahead. You're already knowing who your next 2 opponents are going to be. Like, that mystery is, is pretty much unveiled. So we'll see. I think it's going to be super exciting, and looking to see over on our champions tier how that's going to play out. I believe we had possibly some other matches going on tonight, maybe some reschedules, but either way, we will be back next week, next Thursday, with more streamed matches. Potentially another Rift happens to kind of go over who actually is in the playoffs, how that all panned out, who's going to be playing in that play-in match. But Kyler, thank you so much for hopping in and doing some color commentary for us, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm loving what I'm seeing here, and I'm only excited to continue working with you guys in any capacity. So it's been a lot of fun. Obviously, if this is your first time watching, like, keep on coming back. You can also check out the YouTube channel, which has all of the games that are played re-uploaded to them. So you have the ability to go back and watch those games from week 1 through 4. You can see how different teams matched up against each other, and just keep tuning in, because it's only going to be more and more exciting as we get into playoffs.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for tuning in. We're going to wrap this up right at 9 p.m. Central, so a fantastic time to call it a night. Thank you for hanging out with us, Kyler, for joining me, and I'm Justin, and for Coop in the production booth. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good night.